A CBDC is nothing more than a CCP-style surveillance tool that can be weaponized to oppress the American way of life. We're not going to let that happen.
It's good to be back in the People's House, where House Republicans are ready to continue delivering on our promises to the American people. One important aspect of our common sense agenda is actually protecting Americans' financial privacy, particularly when it pertains to this lawless administrative state. That's why I reintroduced a bill yesterday called the Central Bank Digital Currency Anti-Surveillance State Act, which puts a check on unelected bureaucrats and ensures that the United States digital currency policy upholds our values of privacy, individual sovereignty, and free market competitiveness. Recent actions from the Biden administration have made it clear that they are not only itching to create a digital dollar, but they're willing to trade Americans' right to financial privacy for a surveillance-style CBDC. This bill ensures the future of crypto is in the hands of the American people, not the administrative state, by prohibiting the Federal Reserve from creating a tool with unfettered insight into Americans' financial data. If not open, permissionless, and private, like cash, a CBDC is nothing more than a CCP-style surveillance tool that can be weaponized to oppress the American way of life. We're not going to let that happen, not on House Republicans' watch. And I want to thank the Financial Services Committee for considering our bill this month, and we're going to continue working to ensure that the digital economy is designed by Americans and emulates American values.
Central bank digital currencies, they're not going to succeed, because they're just another layer on top of the current derivative layer, which will make everything even more unstable. And however fast the monetary system is going to collapse, if they succeed in bringing a CBDC to fruition for any amount of time, it'll only speed up the inevitable collapse. Because once the dollar collapses, there's no difference, monetarily speaking, between a digital dollar in your bank account now, when you log into your Bank of America account, you see a number on your checking account, and you see that number, like, well, let's say it's 10,000 numbers, $10,000. Well, 10,000 what's exactly? It's not dollar bills. They don't have it there. It's just data. Mm-hmm. So what's the difference between this data and a blockchain data? Monetarily, it's the same damn thing. So it's just another way of distributing things. As long as it's based on gold, fine, no problem. But we've seen how government uses this technology to rape and pillage and kill and murder. They do that with every technology that is invented in the free market, all the way from the wheel to blockchain. It'll be used for good. It'll be used for evil. And I don't really see much future in it. I'm not a big fan.
Right. So this isn't like, again, it's not about the value of the coin. It's about the ledger and the interoperability of it. So if you want to exchange one type of commodity or valued currency for another, you can literally do that I don't even know the exact prices. Rob knows this better than I do. If you want to jump in, Rob, this would probably be the perfect time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael. I will be very quick, I promise. Everybody, if you will, think of the ways that we're all deceived by counterfeit, truths, things that look like they're good and they're evil, things that look like they're money and they're currency, things that look like they're, up and they're down. We're always deceived. 100% of the time we're deceived. So the deception comes in the counterfeiting of something that looks almost like or just sort of like, sex equals love. No, it doesn't. You just redefine the terms. And then you get us addicted to the sex instead of understanding what love is. So I bring that point up because there's a difference. I want you to think about the difference between a CBDC and an ABDC, a central bank digital currency versus an asset-backed digital currency. They sound a lot alike. They operate very differently. If the asset-backed digital currencies are issued by the 195 different nations around the world, and America does America with its treasury, and Germany does Germany, and Japan does Japan, now we have to interoperate with digital currencies between nations on a level playing field, not through a central bank repository that controls 99% of the world's wealth, that's been lying to us and murdering us forever. If we get to a distributed ledger technology that owns the two things that Michael just talked about, transparency, everybody has to be able to see, and accountability. anybody that touches a transaction has to be accountable for what they do with it, how they take it, how they tax it, how they spend it, if they buy children with it, if they buy drugs with it, if they start wars with it. An asset-backed digital currency is different than a CBDC. If the central bankers could have CBDCs and could make it work, they've already done it. It's a lie. They're not going to be able to emanate and create and manage. And they couldn't build an Obamacare website for $1 billion. It sucked. How the hell do we think they're going to interoperate a global internet monetary system with user interface and accounting and wallets and security and safety and budgeting? They can't.
But
These
Alien technology.
I was just going to
Hey,
say
hey, Rob,
it
how
would
do you know
alienate the
somebody's
solution.
buying drugs with something? How would
Well,
they know?
that
Just
Well,
curious.
there's a difference between, look, transparency is transparency, and when necessary and if lawful, if I think I transferred money to you to kill my wife, then a lawful court order can look at my transactions. Transparency does not mean surveillance, and transparency does not mean real-time artificial intelligence manipulated perversion. It just means transparency. Here's the thing: we we've been screaming audit the Fed forever. They're never going to let you audit the Fed because they don't want the transparency for us to see what they've been doing with the money. The transparency kills the beast system. That's why they don't want transparency. They want central banks on steroids with a Chinese credit score system built in. And trust me, if they could have that system, if they were capable of having that system, it would be operable today. They're not
boom.
capable of it.
Exactly. All they're trying